Well, good evening, folks, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Whitfield Report. I am your host, Sam Whitfield, broadcasting live from NGC Studios here in South Florida, and I want to thank you so very much for joining me here tonight, wherever you are listening to this live, or if you're catching this on the podcast in the past, present, future hour. I really appreciate you all joining me here tonight. And yeah, don't worry, I hear some of you saying that that I need like drums and death metal. I have theme music, I just need to put the video intro together in Final Cut, or rather finish making the video intro. But at any rate, folks, great to be back here for the Saturday night show. Last show of the month for the Whitfield Report, actually. Happy early March, I guess. And hello to all of you in the chat. I'll do shout outs in a sec. Contact info as usual. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at @SamW_NDC. Gab and Parler at Sam Whitfield. Facebook.com/Whitfield Report. TheSamWhitfield.com is my website. And of course, please consider giving the podcast a 5-star rating and review over on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever else you listen to audio podcasts at. Folks, tonight is going to be a very special show. I've got Dictator Phil, who usually co-hosts Versa Media, Real News. He'll be joining me tonight because the other guys have abandoned him. They're at CPAC, probably, doing whatever college students do at CPAC, which I don't know what that is because I've always been too poor to go to CPAC. But at any rate, let's see what we have in the chat here. We have Apex. 07 to you, sir. Apex, the ultimate gamma. Johnny Arcade, of course. I thought you were out of town, Johnny. So, thank you for dropping in. Of course, yeah, we have Andrew Cada. I think I know who that is. Oh God, we have the coronavirus in the chat, folks, and we're all infected now. Oh God. Oh God. Irrational Times has joined us. 07 to you, sir. Let's see. Yep. Szechuan on Lobs. Thank you for tuning in. Oki Dean is here. So, yeah, we have a few people from Semper's stream. So, welcome, everyone. And, of course, Linda has jumped in the chat. Thank you for joining us, man. As I mentioned, Dictator Phil will be joining us in a bit here. Before I bring him on, though, I want to play. We have some rather breaking news here, folks. Uncle Joe, creepy Uncle Joe Biden, has apparently clinched the the South Carolina primary victory. Of course, we still have Super Tuesday to go here, but I figured I would kind of play this clip for you since it's breaking news, and I thought I had it queued up here, but the clip won't. The clip's not gonna download, so I'll just have to stream it from my stream. So All right, let me cue this up here. Biden. Let's see. Yeah, creepy Uncle Joe, folks. Hang on. It's all out of whack here. I don't... Okay, let's see here. All right, folks, we've got it queued up. All right, so breaking news here, folks. Kind of, sort of, not really. Uncle Joe plugs as won South Carolina, I guess, the primary. So, anyway, let's hear what our old favorite creepy uncle has to say for himself. This comes from the Fox News YouTube channel. Okay, yeah.
And my buddy Jim Clyburn, you brought me back. It's a man of enormous integrity. All those who've been knocked down, counted out, left behind, this is your campaign. Just days ago, the press and the pundits had declared this candidacy dead.
It still is dead, Uncle Joe. It still is. You just don't know it yet.
Now, thanks to all of you, the heart of the Democratic Party, we've just won, and we've won big because of you. And we are very much alive. Look, I told you all that you could launch a candidacy. You launched Bill Clinton, Barack Obama to the presidency. Now you launched our campaign on the path to defeating Donald Trump. This campaign has taken off, so join us. Go to joebiden.com, sign up, volunteer, contribute if you can, but we need you, we want you, and there's a place for you in this campaign.
How much coke did he do before the speech, ladies and gentlemen? This is the most energized I've heard Joe Biden in quite a long time. Seriously.
Folks, as we celebrate tonight here in Columbia, let me talk directly to Democrats across America, especially those who will be voting on Super Tuesday. This is the moment to choose the path forward for our party. This is the moment, and it's arrived. Maybe sooner than anyone guessed it would, but it's here. And the decisions Democrats make all across America in the next few days will determine what this party stands for, what we believe, and what we'll get done. If Democrats nominate me, I believe we can beat Donald Trump. Keep Nancy Pelosi in the House of Representatives as Speaker, and take back the United States Senate. So join us. My fellow Democrats across America, join us. If Democrats want to nominate someone who will build on Obamacare, not scrap it, take on the NRA and gun manufacturers, not protect them. Stand up and give the poor a fighting chance for the middle class to get restored, not raise their taxes and keep the promise.
Okay, I mean, first off, Uncle Joe, the problem with that is the NRA, the NRA isn't the boogeyman you think they are. In fact, they're not even that good from what I've been told on, protecting gun rights to begin with. Second off, Obamacare was a disaster also, Uncle Joe. Why are you touting Obamacare still? I mean, the former president hasn't even come out to endorse you. Or throw his support behind you. I mean, you were the man's vice president for, 8 years, and yet he hasn't said word one about you. Doesn't that hurt your feelings even like a little bit? I mean, if I were Obama's, if I had been Obama's vice president, I would at least want him to, throw his support behind me. But no, Obama hasn't done that, Joe. So why are you still cheerleading for him? That's my question.
Promises we make, then join us. And if the Democrats want a nominee who's a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, a proud Democrat, an Obama-Biden Democrat, then join us. We have the option of winning big or losing big. That's the choice. We need to build on the coalition and legacy of the most successful president in our lifetime, Barack Obama. And the way we do this is...
Most successful president of our lifetime, Obama. No, Joe, the most successful president of your lifetime was probably Dutch Reagan. The Gipper. The most successful president of my lifetime is the one currently in office, Donald J. Trump, who is, at this rate, folks, going to win re-election. That debate the other night was pitiful. Yep. Let's continue. I'm not gonna play this whole thing because it's plugs Biden, but just a little more of it. Well, let's see if he does any gaffes. Because I think if I remember correctly, I just watched this clip and I think a Biden gaffe is coming up here real quick.
By bringing Americans together of every race, ethnicity, gender, economic station, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, people of every stripe. Look, just like we did here in South Carolina. And like we can do across the entire country on Tuesday and beyond. Folks, win big or lose, that's the choice. Most Americans don't want the promise of revolution. They want more than promises. They want results. They want to give all Americans access to real opportunity, to be able to have affordable health care for all Americans, an environment with clean air and clean water, an education system that funds our schools, pays our teachers, makes community college free, a nation that will stand up to and beat the NRA. Reform our criminal justice system. Root out institutional racism. Mobilize the world against climate change. And an economy that works, rewards work, not just...
Okay, again, creepy Uncle Joe. The NRA is not the boogeyman you think it is, and it's interesting how you're now talking about revolution because Bernie Sanders wants a revolution. Yeah, all of you guys are panicking about, oh no, Bernie's a communist, and yet you're the one now saying you want revolution, right? So, yeah. Well, I mean, Alan plugs Biden, thinks that the NRA is the worst, people. So, yeah. So, yep, we have Hojim here, too. So, good day, mate. So, yeah. But this is Plugs Biden, ladies and gentlemen. This is who is probably going to run against Trump.
Wealth. My dad used to say, Joey, a job's about a lot more than the paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about decency, it's respect. It's about your place in the community. It's being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, it's going to be okay. For all our families.
Is that what you told your granddaughter when you were kissing her on the lips a few weeks ago? I have a feeling you said something similar to like that, probably to other women too, as you were sniffing their hair. Good God. Yeah.
All our communities. Because that's the right thing to do. That's what makes us Democrats. Talk is cheap. False promises are deceptive. And talk about revolution and changing anyone's life. We need real changes right now. Something I've done my whole career, and I'll do as president. So this is an election to spend all our time in a battle for the soul of the Democratic Party. This is a battle for the soul of the United States of America.
Yes, and you're going to lose once again.
We're in an incredibly perilous moment, as all of you know. Winning means uniting America, not sowing more division and anger. It means not only fighting, but healing the country. We have to beat Donald Trump.
Right, because Obama did nothing whatsoever to divide the country in his 8 years as president, right? He was the great unifier. Yeah, that's right. Black Lives Matter popped up on his watch. Antifa, Occupy Wall Street. And all those freak shows, they were justified in their anger, at greedy, Wall Street brokers and, business people and whatnot. That was all justified. Yeah, that's right.
Republican Party, but here's the deal. We can't become like them. We can't become like them. We can't have an ever-ending war. Above all, it's time for America to get back up. The country is so ready. So ready. Once again, fight for the proposition that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men and women are created equal, endowed by the Creator with certain inalienable rights. We say it all the time, but we've never fully lived up to it. But we've never before, until this president, walked away from it.
You're right, Joe. Your party has never lived up to that at all. You're right about that. Your party has never lived up to any of that. In fact, if anything, your party has tried to remove God. And look, I'm not even that much of a, I believe in separation of church and state and whatnot. I don't think religion should be, necessarily involved in the government. But you want to talk of the spirituality of America now. Your party has done everything pretty much to, bash religious freedom in this country. So, yeah. Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it, Vinny. Jimmy is not gay here. Jimmy's not the gay one. Owen is. By the way, shout out to the Gavin McGinnis Discord. Thanks for joining me here tonight. Okay, so that's Plugs Biden's speech here. I don't want to I don't want to focus on plugs Biden too much, but what I do want to do is see what my good pal Dictator Phil is up to. So I'm going to call him because he has been patiently waiting. So let's bring in our guest, Dictator Phil, and yeah. So, but what I do want to do is okay. Phil, are you there?
I sure am. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, sure can.
Okay, just turn your radio down or turn the stream down. There was a bit of an echo. But anyway, how are you doing, my friend?
Not bad. Not bad. How about yourself?
Pretty good.
Saw you talking about Creepy Joe there for a sec.
Yeah, so what do you make of Creepy Joe here, Phil?
He has virtually no shot. I don't think he really has a shot at even being the Democratic nominee. I don't. He barely remembers where he is most of the time. He can't keep his nose out of other women, and I don't understand like what the appeal is. I think he has dementia. I do. There's a piece of me that thinks he may very well have like Alzheimer's, or he's starting to become like old and senile or something. Because there's just something that isn't right. There's like something that's kind of, I don't know. It doesn't get the pieces right. And Donald Trump's already said it. He said it in the CPAC speech today. It was he made some jokes about it. He's like, it's great to be in Iowa. He's like, sir, we're in Idaho.
Yeah, I've seen those memes. Well, honestly, though, I don't know who in the Democrat Party is qualified to take Trump on at this point. I mean,
I don't think anybody can. Like, I think it's like if you win the Democratic nominee, or if you become the Democratic nominee, it's like, congratulations on becoming the nominee. You're going to lose to Trump in October or November. Yeah. It's going to be bad. I don't see like if he goes up against, if Sanders goes up against Trump, he's going to lose hard. I really don't see a socialist going up against Trump with one of the best economies probably ever. And then, Joe, he speaks for himself. Pocahontas, I don't think she's gonna, I mean, that would be, Trump would have a field day. Yeah, I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody beating him. But I mean, the Dem debate was fun to watch, just seeing everybody just kind of, destroy themselves.
It was fun. Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about was the Dem debate. I rarely ever watch them. Period.
Me either. You and I both. Like it's like most of the other Democratic debates are the most useless group of minutes ever. But like this one, you kind of figured that they were going to go, the heads were going to clash. It's like, oh, let's see what kind of dirt these guys are going to use on each other.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm amazed at the fact that Bernie Sanders might be getting the damn thing. That's what really amazes me.
The Democratic Party, I don't want to say they're idiots, but they're idiots. And like most of the people in the Democratic Party are like young. They're young. They're kind of immature. They're kind of not all there. and here comes a snake oil salesman and Bernie Sanders. He's promising you all kinds of free shit. All the, we're going to pay for your college and we're going to make the rich pay for it. Like, no, he's like, it sounds good. Like the whole socialism in itself, it sounds good to somebody that doesn't know about socialism. Like, and then once you, but only when you realize, that it actually doesn't help business. And then businesses tend to leave socialist environments for other free market environments. Then it's like, oh, well, maybe that's not such a good idea. Or maybe socialism doesn't have a very good track record in world history.
Yeah. Hey, real quick. Excuse me for us. Like I've got to just address the chat. Hey, first off, guys, I'm looking in the chat, and no one except for one person is banned right now. And also, Jimmy is the king moderator. He can do whatever he wants. He's the one Brit on the channel I have, so I'm giving him impunity to do what he wants. Okay. Okay. So you were saying Dictator Phil. First off, I think we should explain for the new listeners how did you get that name? Because that is an awesome handle.
Well, yeah. Well, it's a part of it was like myself, Sean and Alex, we had always had these conversations while we were at Penn State, and it was like, you know what? If I was dictator, I would just do all this and that as far as like wars and as far as like how to run the country. Because we always said, oh, you need to be a dictator because, Congress is useless and they're never going to let you do anything. So then I was like, well, screw it. I'll just name myself Dictator Phil. Let's see how it rings. And it kind of, stuck.
You would be an awesome dictator, I think. So
I mean, there's only one way to find out, and that's to ruthlessly take over the country. No, just kidding. No, that's the Democrats' job. But yeah, like I named myself Dictator Phil as like a joke. Obviously I'm doing it as a joke, as a gag, but we're really like with a Democratic debate, we're really seeing it. Like Bernie Sanders is kind of like really, like if he were to become president, like it would essentially be him. Like he would end up becoming a dictator. Because you look at every socialist government in world history, it always ends up the family like owns everything. And like, would you want that? Would you want Bernie Sanders to literally control everything?
Well,
own everything?
Well, my question, even more so than that, is like I remember people were freaking out because Trump was old, right? Trump was like 69 when he ran, which, granted, like that is old, but like, like 69, okay, I can still, if that's when he comes into office, like I can still see that. Like Bernie is close to what, like, I'm gonna actually have to look this up, but like Bernie's in his 70s easily, I think, right? So there's
He looks like it.
Well, Bernie actually looks like he's in his 90s, to be fair, but I know he's not. So, so realistically though, like Bernie just had a heart attack on the campaign trail too, like 3 months ago. So, supposedly if he dies as president, like, who's going to take over? I mean, obviously the vice president would, but I mean, still, he's probably going to get like another commie on the ticket, knowing him.
What if it's AOC?
How old is AOC? By the way,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Is the age requirement for the vice president too, or what? I don't.
I would kind of imagine if you have to be like, if you have to be 35 to be president, and then if like the president somehow dies, I would imagine that it would have to be the same rule. But I mean, who?
I would imagine if AOC were to ever become president, there would be mass suicides, or mass emigration, like people getting the fuck out. Like, oh, Russia doesn't sound bad this time of year.
No, Russia actually doesn't sound bad compared to America ran by AOC. Yeah. Although I have to admit, there are some people in one of the discords I belong into who unfortunately think that AOC is hot. And I just don't see it at all. I'm sorry. I don't see how AOC is attractive at all. So, well,
it's kind of, my guess is it's probably a prison syndrome, right? Where she's like semi-fuckable, but only because everybody else is kind of like really ugly. So it makes her look better. Like, it's like you ever see that chick at the club that's like super, that she looks like she's super hot, but she surrounds herself with all that's literally AOC. Like, you look at Elon Omar, yuck. You look at Ayanna Presley, Rashida Tlaib. No, there's like literally, she's the best looking one, but that's not saying much.
Yeah, that's not saying anything at all compared to Melania or Ivanka or anything.
Oh, she couldn't sniff. She couldn't sniff either of those. Melania is gorgeous. Melania, oh my God, she was gorgeous. Like, she still is gorgeous, by the way, but she like really, like, in her modeling, oh my goodness.
You
and then Ivanka, look, anybody who hates Ivanka is jealous. She's pure jealousy, because she's gorgeous, she's intelligent, she's married to a billionaire, her father's a billionaire, like, look, well spoken, like, she holds herself pretty much great in every aspect. Like, if you wanted to see what the best woman would be like that would be Ivanka, would probably be it. And I'm saying that not just because she's like, the intelligence is there, like everything else seems to be there too. And it's like,
Phil,
and wait.
Phil,
what's up?
Are you a jarhead by chance?
Am I a jarhead?
Are you a Marine?
No, I was Army.
Oh, I thought you were a Marine. A Marine?
No.
A Marine by chance. I just asked because the way that you talk about women sounds an awful lot like my jarhead buddies. So
yeah, I mean, it's like, who said Nancy Pelosi is a babe? Ew, yikes! So that's a terrible. Yeah, I was looking at your chat. I was like, yowza.
Irrational times. He was probably just people. People in my chat tend to like to troll people. So
yeah. That would actually be funny now that I think about it. Yeah, she probably would have been hot like 30 years ago before all that plastic surgery.
Well, Nancy Pelosi is. I mean, Nancy Pelosi is another one, right? This is the other thing, and I know that we actually have the coronavirus in chat, so I don't want to insult the coronavirus here. But Nancy Pelosi was saying that she was freaking out because Trump has only spent like $2 million on coronavirus, and I guess like Obama spent $5 billion on Ebola or whatever. And it's like, great, Ebola didn't kill us. But that's not because you dropped $5 billion on it. It's because, like, everything got contained here. And aside from that, it's from Africa. Like, I don't, like, the left has gone so far as to even say that Trump is causing coronavirus.
Now let's play a conspiracy theorist for a minute here. Now, it didn't affect us really all that much. You look at China, Wuhan is like wiped out. They had that whole place on quarantine, right? Brutalized. This not so much, and then lo and behold, only a couple days in its attack, all of a sudden a pharmaceutical company just so happens to have a trial cure for it. Like, oh, we just so happen to try this thing that just broke out and nobody knew what the hell it was. And all of a sudden we have this cure for it. I don't know. You could say, like if I was Alex Jones, that would probably be what I'd be pushing right now.
Yeah. We'll get to Alex in a sec, because CPAC has been interesting from what I've heard. I'm too poor to go. So I've never gone before, but yeah, it's interesting, this whole coronavirus thing. The reason why it's so prevalent in China too is because China just doesn't give a shit about their people or their population unless you're in the ruling elite. Like, honestly, I think there already are people who have it here, and they're getting treatment, they're contained, and as far as I know, no one has died from it yet. Now, that could change, of course, after this podcast airs, but as of 11 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, the 29th of February, no one has died of coronavirus that I know of. So,
don't jinx us. It's not cool.
Yeah. Well,
all of a sudden you finish this podcast and all of a sudden people are dropping like flies. I'll be like, damn it, Sam Whitfield.
Well, at that point, then I'll just grab a Trump babe and hope for the best. But anyway, one last thing regarding the debate. What was your favorite, or I guess least favorite moment, depending on how you look at it, of that debate? Did you watch it?
I watched little bits and pieces of it. Like, there was one piece where literally everyone was talking over everybody. It was like everybody was trying to get their little bits in, and the moderators just did a super horrible job trying to put order into the debate. And yeah, that was probably the least favorite time. Like, is anybody going to be in charge, or is there any grown-ups in the building?
Right. Well, the debate moderators, that was the hilarious thing, was they kept having to tell people, to let each other speak. I mean, it's pandemonium.
Was the one Lester Holt? I think Lester Holt might have been the one. He's a fake Republican.
Yeah, and then the lady anchor they had there, I can't remember her name, but she had to tell people to quiet down too, and they
didn't listen to her at all.
And well, of course not, because she's a woman anchor. So and you never listen to woman anchors, so
everybody says respect a woman until a woman appears. Jesus.
And unless it's on Fox News, so then we all pay attention. So
it's like we like over an MSNBC. We really need to respect women. Women are at the epicenter of the universe. And then all of a sudden the Democratic debate comes on. Can we have order? Shut up, bitch! I'm talking.
Yeah. Also, we need diversity in the Democrat Party too. So then it's literally all white. It's literally all white guys and two white women.
Two. Hey! We have a Native American there. Okay, easy. We have American, and she proved she's 1 in 10/24 or something like that. Native American. I get that might count. I could count. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know at all. Representative Ford was saying there's something about coronavirus in Washington State. I don't know. Let me look that up since I don't have producer Jamie here. Who knows? Maybe I did jinx us somehow.
Probably.
It was not my intention to do so, but knowing me, watching this Democratic debate also had me thinking a little bit. Have you ever watched the Chappelle Show? Oh yeah, dude. I grew up watching the Chappelle Show. So he was right in one of those skits. He said modern problems require modern solutions, right? And you know what? He's right. Just earlier today, Donald Trump, he was talked about making a deal with the Taliban to be able to eventually pull troops out of Afghanistan. And it did get me thinking. I'm like, you know what? He's right. Modern problems do require modern solutions. So here's my solution for if we ever want to, decimate a place, right? If we ever want to see a plot of land outside of the United States completely decimated, right? All we have to do is put a Democrat in charge of that piece of land, and it'll be decimated in no time. Look at Baltimore, look at San Francisco, look at New York, some spots in New York, all run by Democrats, all fucking shitholes. Yeah. Oh shit! As it turns out, Washington State man becomes first victim in from coronavirus. So, well, Washington does have a really big Asian population. So yeah, that doesn't sound. No, I mean serious. There's a lot of that population that goes there. No, yeah, you're right. Well, also though, yeah, you're right, because it says here on NBC News, I've got the article pulled up on the screen. Here it says, U.S. diplomatic officials say 60-year-old citizen diagnosed with the disease. So I guess there was another U.S. victim, but who actually died in China, and then the guy who died was in his late 50s with an underlying health condition. So, and I mean, I guess that's part of it too, is people with underlying respiratory and health conditions are dying from this too, which someone brought up a good point. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Ben Shapiro who brought this up, but I guess one of the reasons why so many people are dying of coronavirus in Wuhan is, I mean, obviously it's virus, but also I guess everyone there smokes and has some sort of lung condition like emphysema or COPD. So they're kind of already screwed to begin with. But
yeah. Well, I mean, Donald Trump did say if you're healthy, you're probably not. I mean, it's probably not really going to affect you. But I mean, and he's right. I would assume that if it's some sort of flu or some sort of virus, if you're relatively healthy, you should be okay, I guess. But I mean, if you're ass banging some 14-year-old Chinese person in a massage parlor, your chances are pretty high of getting it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So, I love the subtle transition there too. All
you got to keep it nice and subtle there,
Yeah. So that's why we love Dictator Phil here, ladies and gentlemen. Is the
it's better. Look, and I do like. Hey, I do like being on this show too, because you kind of, there's a little bit of a chillax atmosphere, versus, we're on the radio, and I love being on the radio too. But like, sometimes you just want to drop that F-bomb, and you're just like.
Oh yeah. I don't know how the fuck Sean and Alex have done it for so long. I mean, hell, I feel bad because one of the times I was on there, I dropped the F-bomb twice without realizing it. It just comes out of me so naturally. So
it's funny too sometimes because if we're in the studio and then like one of us. It's bad. Like you put me, Alex, and Sean in one room together. One of us are at least dropping something. Like, and you're telling me you put all three of us in a room for 2 hours, and none of us are going to say nothing foul. The chances are not good.
So
we do a pretty good job, but
Yeah. Well, your show is pretty good. I was thinking of. I heard the episode just about like a week ago, and Sean and Alex went to the furry convention, or I guess the anime convention. That was was interesting to say the least. So, I can't remember why they went there, just that they did. So.
Yeah. It was interesting to me too, because I wasn't there. I mean, I wasn't there for any of that, but like, yeah, just hearing some of the stuff that they were talking about that was at this. I don't even know why you even call it a fucking convention. Like that's just like it's like a bunch of weirdos assembling, probably circle jerking each other. I don't know. Weird. It's just weird. Like, weird. Another thing that weirds me out is like people that I didn't even know that there was like anime porn. Like apparently that's a thing. Like anime porn. There's like anime like whoever draws the Dragon Ball Z characters, they're drawing porn characters too or something. Like,
oh yeah,
it's just like there's like tentacle rape or something like that from like Aliens or whatever. I'm like, what the hell is going on? These sick bastards just don't.
Oh yeah, no, anime freaks love that shit. So tentacle porn, hentai, what, all that stuff. So, but yeah, yeah, just saying goes. We call it room Lex. Oh, by the way, Dictator Phil. Speaking of crazy people, have you followed this Owen Benjamin nut job at all?
Not really. I'm like, I know he just. Is he like he's off the grid, right? Like is he kind of like off the grid or something? Sure. It looks like every time I look at his video, he's like in woods and stuff like that, and he's got this real, very like very off the grid kind of thing.
Sort of. He's basically he like started out as he started out as like a big liberal comedian, although he was never that big. He was like on some TBS sitcom. I don't even know if TBS is still a network anymore, to be honest. But back when it was, he was like on some sort of sitcom there, and then he was like basically, as I understand, he came over to Conservative Inc. To the conservative side, just kind of because Hollywood money was drying up, and then somewhere along the line he got banned on Twitter for saying the N-word too much, among other things, and he was like kind of trying to dare them to ban him, and they did, and he finally he was shocked because of it, and he went crazy and basically accused like some people I know of trying to poison his kids with, of all things, like fake gummy penises. I guess someone else had sent him as like a practical joke, and yeah, he's just gone completely insane. So
what, gummy penises? So like you would let your kid, like if somebody sent gummy penises to your house, would you really let your kids eat the fucking gummy penises? Like what? Am I following that right?
Well, see, that's the thing. He said that like he never gave them to his kids, and that, like somehow he alleged that some people like tried poisoning his.
So they sneak in his mailbox? Oh wow, gummy penises! Like what? Like oh yeah, he is kind of he's his own special breed.
Yeah, he is. I mean, it's crazy, but yeah, I mean, there are other crazy. I mean, just the internet is full of crazy people out there too. That's real what I've noticed. So, oh, go ahead.
No, I was reading some of the comments. You got some funny people in your fucking chat.
Yeah, we've assembled quite a merry band of misfits and other degenerates. So, good.
So what about you? Well, so what do you think that there's a favorite? Do you think there's a favorite for the DNC?
For the DNC, honestly, as far as like a favorite, I think that the Dems are honestly like hoping for Biden or Warren at this point. That's who the establishment is kind of hoping, because they're a safe choice. Because Bernie is just an out and out communist, and although the actual Democrat Party, let's face it, isn't that far away from communism, the Dems can't admit to that, so obviously they're going to go with the safe choice. Honestly, I was thinking like a few weeks ago that if he was smart, honestly, I think that Mike Bloomberg could have posed an actual challenge to Trump if he was serious. But he just came out of the gate with no energy, and so I honestly at this point, obviously they've got to choose someone, but I don't see at this point like who would even be viable to beat Trump. I want
to laugh. I want to laugh at Bloomberg. Like if he doesn't get the nomination, I just want to laugh at him so hard. Like dude, he spent like, I think he spent over $500 million now on advertisements, and you spending all of that money, your own money, right? He isn't taking anything from PACs or special interest groups or whatever. So you're telling me you spent all that money and you're not going to get the nomination? No, you deserve to get laughed at.
Yep.
Hysterically.
Yeah, no, it's and the thing about the Dems too is, and this is something that I thought of this afternoon. Trump is going to win re-election, and the reason why he's going to win re-election is the same reason why Obama won re-election in 2012. Like, you know, Mitt Romney was admittedly a weak ass candidate, you know, in 2012. Not just that, but I mean, he really didn't have anything that he could campaign on, you know, on his own, other than, Obama is bad. Obama is bad. We need to get Obama out of the White House. But yeah, he never had anything that, you know, he could really bring to the table, you know, or at least he never tried. And so therefore, I don't think people were interested. And we have the same thing now with, you know, the Democrats. Like, it's all about, you know, Trump is bad. We need to get rid of Trump. Russia. You know, impeachment, all that stuff. And yet, like, none of them have actually taken a serious, you know, like, they don't actually have, like, an actual platform.
No, I don't see a platform either. Like, part of me always thinks that the DNC and the RNC are run by people who actively look for the worst fucking candidates that they could possibly put on the ticket. Like, oh, Obama's doing such a terrible job. How bad of a candidate could we possibly throw? Oh, we could get an old rich financial Mormon. Like, let's throw that in there. Let's see if that'll work. Oh, it didn't work. Damn it. I think they tried to do that with Trump too. Like, they were thinking, oh, nobody's gonna vote for this populist reality star, and it bit him in the ass because he ended up doing such a great job.
The thing with Trump is, I mean, Trump, honestly, when Trump first, like, got into the into the 2016 race way back in 2015, you know, and when he came up on stage and you know, said that, like, I don't have time for political correctness, you know, whatever, like, I liked it. Yeah. I was honestly like, there's no way this guy is gonna last past the primaries, just because they won't let him. Like, mm-hmm. I'm like, you know, this is fun while it lasts, but there's no way he's gonna last long term. And yet he, you know, obviously he nicknamed everyone in the Republican primary. You know, he basically obliterated Jeb Bush, who was, like, Jeb Bush was the darling. Like, he was supposed to be the one, you know, that was going to get the nomination, and yet, you know, lo and indeed, Jeb got made into a meme and got memed out of the race, and, you know, like, and then, you know, when it came down to it, Trump beat the Wicked Witch of the West. So,
I feel like they're gonna try. There's just something in the back of my head that's saying they're gonna try to rig it in Biden's favor, and I believe, in my heart of hearts, I believe it's going to go to a brokered convention. I don't think anybody's going to reach the delegates required in the main voting, and I think it'll go into a brokered convention. And I think it's going to be either Bloomberg or it's going to be Biden. I think they're going to find a way to dick over Bernie Sanders again. If it gets that far. If it gets to a broker convention, I think Bernie Sanders is getting dicked over.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, yeah, Bernie's Bernie's not going to be the nominee, but even if he was, I mean, I think other than like the hardcore, communists, he wouldn't win. I think it would be like a Walter Mondale, style blowout from like '84 when Reagan just won everything. So
Well, if anything happens outside of not Sanders right now, because Sanders, right, like technically Sanders is the front runner right now. We're never going to hear it from these conspiracy theorists. Like, it's a conspiracy, man. They went against Bernie. They didn't want socialists. I'm like, okay. And I mean, they only got a couple states. You got Iowa, you got New Hampshire. Like that's not a good barometer for the rest of the country. And people are really soaking this Bernie Sanders thing in, but I tend to agree like you. I'm not sure that he would get the nomination, but I don't know. It's hard because I mean these DNC fuckers, they're crazy. They're just mentally unstable, all of them. And you can't predict that kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think though the DNC is kind of, like honestly, they're crazy, but they're reflecting the party at large here. Like,
yeah,
look, I've had a bunch of friends who once consider themselves like JFK Democrats. And they came over and voted for Trump in 2016. Why? Because like Trump was actually addressing stuff like, the economy and like blue collar jobs and and actual stuff that matters. Not transgender bathrooms, or child hormones or anything like that. Like, the Dems have gone so far off their rocker with trying to placate to like these extreme minority groups, out on the West Coast that no one else is really buying what they have to sell anymore, which is good for us, but bad for them.
Mm-hmm. The transgenders in sports pisses me off way worse than the bathrooms. Like you got these men basically that are going into women's sports and fucking dominating, right? It's like, oh my God, girl power, right? No, these are dudes. Half of them haven't even lunked off their dick yet. And then they're breaking records. It's like, oh, this is girl power. Like, no, that's a dude. That is a dude. This is a ripped, nasty dude.
Well, yeah, and even Joe Rogan, who was pretty liberal on this type of stuff. Even he was like saying, "Nah, dude, that's too far." He was. I forget who Rogan was interviewing. I think it was that Adam Ruins Everything guy. That annoying guy. And like, that the Adam Ruins Everything guy was like trying to say, oh, look at how, isn't that great? Isn't that wonderful? Equality. And Rogan was like, well, it's not equal at all because they're men that look like women and they're beating they're literally beating, the crap in some cases out of these women. So.
Yeah, there was one, I forget what Fallon Fox, I think her name is.
Yeah.
This big MMA fighter. Like, if you ever see a picture of Fallon Fox, she's like built. It's a dude. There's no chick with it. Like, she's ripped. And then like, so she's beating the shit out of all these these female fighters in the first round, mangling them all the shit. And they're like, oh, she's so stunning and brave. Like, no, she's that's a dude.
Yeah.
Like that's domestic violence. If that happened in the streets, someone's going to fucking jail.
Yeah, well, I mean, someone in one of the comments on one of Rogan's video actually brought up the point like, okay, if we're allowing that, why don't we just allow why don't we just allow men MMA fighters to jump in and start fighting female fighters? I mean, we might as well at that point. What's the difference, right? And everyone's like, oh no, we can't do that. And it's like, why not? What's the difference at that point? So
yeah, there's one there's one interview that some news outlet had with a female a transgender female athlete that went into that flipped to male, flipped to female, and then started breaking all these biking records or some cycling records or whatever. And it's like what do you have to say about the critics? And it was like, well, I don't care what they say about me. Like, no, you're still talking like a dude. Like, it's like you don't like you're telling me that's a fair advantage.
yeah,
I'm saying, most of these guys most of these dudes, they don't even clip their dick before flipping into women's sports, man. What the fuck?
Well, of course. I just don't get the appeal of transitioning. Period. I mean, that's just me. But I'm one of those weirdo cis guys. So
yeah, I'm like, it's like sports is like supposed to be, and the worst part is you're fucking over women that are trying to get scholarships, and they're trying to get they're trying to actually, they've been working their entire life. How would you feel if you worked, like you're a female and you worked your entire life to be the best at your craft at a particular sport? And then all of a sudden some dude just flips into a chick and then just dusts you. And then they're getting all the credit that you should have gotten. Like that would, I mean, like there's already lawsuits happening right now as we speak.
oh yeah, well, I mean, sports is so wonky anymore anyway. I mean, there's a whole feminist movement to get rid of cheerleaders too in the NFL because apparently they're inherently sexist somehow. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I have this but the problem that we come up with is like, well, it's like, well, why don't we just have the best men against the best women? Like, are you fucking kidding me? You think that's going to solve anything? It's like, oh, because like they were like, well, why don't we have the men's soccer team play the women's national soccer team? Like, you don't think that somebody's going to be crying victim if they get pasted all over the fucking soccer field? You don't think there's going to be some women going, this isn't fair? They're picking on us.
Yeah, it's insane. Well, even like a male athlete who's not that strong, could probably dominate like a I wouldn't go so far as to say that I could beat the crap out of like Ronda Rousey or like the average guy, but like if you're like a low,
No. If you're
like a lower tier like male athlete, you could still beat the crap out of Ronda Rousey. Even if you're
like,
not...
okay, yeah. So that's not like really set. Like, look, like she could probably kick my, like Ronda Rousey could probably kick my ass. Okay, but I don't like. Look, I'm like an older, broken person. Like, I'm not the guy that I used to be. But if are you telling me if you put her in the fucking octagon with like Cain fucking Velasquez or some shit, you think that she's not going to get her ass whipped? You're out of your mind. Or like even Brock Lesnar, like you put Brock Lesnar in the ring, holy Jesus, it'd be an ass whooping. Even her own husband, she's married to Travis Brown. Travis Brown is like 6'7" and Chuck Diesel. You put her like I'm telling you that like people just, and women are scared. They're scared shitless. They don't want to say shit because they don't want to be on the wrong end of the liberal train.
Sure. Well, sure. That's where this insanity partially comes from. Too, is the fear of the left and their reprisals. I mean, my friend, Jimmy, who I don't know if Jimmy is still in the chat here, but another thing that drives me crazy is when the left like shuts down businesses. Like Chick-fil-A was supposed to like open a shop in London, and branch out to the UK, and this was like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago now. And this was like at the end of 2019, and Chick-fil-A decided to pull out because I guess some like LGBT rights group basically threatened to like they spread like a misinformation campaign about like Chick-fil-A and how hateful they were, and they got the franchise that would have started in the UK to basically like shut down. So
the chick, like, what about that chick that wanted her balls waxed?
Oh,
the transgender chick that wanted to go to a beauty salon and she wanted her balls waxed. like what?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, I forgot about that. Ooh, yeah.
You think okay? So if I just walked into a female restroom, right? Little girls are like, mom is, fixing up her daughter before they go out to eat, and here I come busting through the door. Like, it's okay. I identify as female. Don't mind me, right? And then I just pull my dick and balls out and start going peeing all over the toilet and shit right in front of them. You think that little girl's not gonna be traumatized?
And that's the whole thing. Like that seems like awfully weird too. To also go into, to also go into like a female beauty salon, and if you're a chicken, go, yeah, I need my balls waxed. So it would be like, excuse me,
the confused looks would be priceless though. Look, I don't understand why won't they wax my balls? Like, what? First off, you're a chicken. If you're supposed to be a chicken, you're not supposed to have any balls. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We are living in peak clown world. So
definitely. Yeah, clown world was like 3 years ago. Ever since Trump got elected, people just like can't handle themselves.
Well, get ready for 4 more. Get ready for 4 more years of this shit, Phil. It's going. It's going.
Yeah, well, on the bright side, we're never short of material ever.
No. In fact, like the good thing is, the more insane they go, like the more material that we have, as hosts, and like my ratings have gone up because of this, stuff. I mean, it's It's unbelievable.
Real quick. A storm of wrenches was saying he keeps saying she. What the fuck? All right, look. Okay, I'm sorry. It's very difficult to identify this person. Okay, you think they have like long hair and they look like they're trying to identify as a female, but they're big and they're butch and they have a set of fucking balls that they're trying to get waxed. Okay, I'm a very confused person right now. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the thing is like obviously you can call him he, I guess, right? But it's like
what do you call it? You call him it? Like it wants to get his balls waxed.
Yeah, it wants to get its wall. Yeah, see, yeah, I'm getting tongue twisted, even like trying to say it wants to get its balls waxed. I guess. Ugh, geez, that was tough. Yeah. Yeah. Wendigo's dogs or cats? Cats or dogs? Terrible. Well, I mean,
yeah, we're living in 1984, like ups down, downs up, he's or she's or he's. Who the fuck knows?
Well, I mean, we kind of are living in 1984 with all this like censorship now, and like I'm really curious to hear about what Sean and Alex. Is Alex at CPAC too, or just Sean?
It's just Sean. Sean was going down there. I think a lot of what he was trying to do was he was trying to like tell people about Uncensored America.
Yeah.
His new organization.
Well, I'm curious because I guess Owen Schroyer and Gavin McInnes got thrown out of CPAC.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's I saw that Trump made like a speech there. I haven't seen that yet. I really haven't paid much attention to CPAC in like the past 2 years, but
from what Sean was telling me, that it was actually more fun going to the all the outside stuff. Like there were a lot of outside parties. Like National File had a couple of events with Alex Jones and Owen Shore and Laura Loomer and Gavin McInnes and and that seemed to be a better time for a lot of people than actual CPAC. Yeah, I don't think it's crazy because CPAC they kick out Gavin McInnes, they kick out Owen Shore, but they're letting liberals, like liberal media, they're letting there's like an Antifa member or something like that was like starting shit with people up there. Like I'm like, can we get our priorities in order here? Like,
yeah, even Antifa, yeah, that's right. Even Antifa got a ticket into the event, which, that is one thing I will say. It's like, as much as I like President Trump, that is the one what the fuck man thing that I have to, kind of like bring up with him. It's like, like, why the fuck hasn't Antifa been classified as like a terrorist group, as like a domestic terrorist group yet federally? Because I mean that's what they fucking are. They go around like beating people with bats, like throwing like liquid cement at people, macing people.
It's like, it's funny. It's like they're named Antifa for like anti-fascist, yet they're doing fascist shit. Like they're like, what, you don't agree with us? You don't know, we're going to fucking inhibit our violence and force you to comply. Like literally that is fascism.
And it's disturbing when people go, oh, well, Trump created this environment, so therefore they're justified in like wanting violence. It's like, what? No, they're fucking not. Like not at all. It's insanity. So
yeah, and it's like if somebody's words incite you to be violent, that's a you problem. Like you have to figure that shit out. Like You know, you got to learn how to handle your shit. That's not my problem. If I say I should be able to say whatever the fuck I want, and you should be able to be a mature person and handle your shit.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and I mean, I honestly at this point, like, I'm like, what is it going to take with Antifa? Like, are they going? At this point, I think someone is. I mean, I don't want this to happen. Obviously, I'm not saying that this should happen, but like, is Antifa gonna have to kill someone to you know, like, out in public for, you know, the government to finally do something?
My thing is that like I feel like they're trying, like the government's trying to make them like trying to play the victim card. Like if Antifa is doing all this violent shit, they're trying to play it to get votes, or they're trying to play it to get money, or they're trying to get it to do whatever. But the problem is they're destroying shit. Like they're actually destroying shit. Like people's lives are being affected. Like you look at Andy No, right? He got messed up pretty badly. Like at the hands of Antifa, had a milkshake with liquid concrete chucked at him. Like what? Like people, even if people don't die, the risk for them to be severely damaged is there. And it's like, well, when the fuck are you going to do something? I do agree with you there. Like, look, probably should do something, you know, because like all it takes is for somebody to die. And then it's like, well, I mean, of course, the Dems are always going to get on the funk Trump bandwagon, but like, you know, like it could be serious. Like it could be really, really serious. And like, at what point do we finally say, okay, enough's enough. Let's slam the door on this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they had no problem doing that with, you know, the Proud Boys, and giving the Proud Boys you know, like life sentences. Which, look, I mean, I don't actually know that much about, you know, what happened with the Proud Boys. That, you know, I've heard like conflicting stories on that. So, you know, I've read in like some, you know, I've read in some instances that, you know, like the Proud Boys, you know, attacked. So, you know, but then I've heard other instances that it was self-defense, and I don't know. But what I do know is it seems like highly suspicious that, you know, the Proud Boys, you know, who may or may not be like a bad group, you know, are getting sent to jail. Meanwhile, you know, Antifa terrorizes people and nothing is done. So
well, look where it's at. Like you look where it's at geographically. Like New York, nobody's like the governor's Democrat. A lot of the judges are Democrats. A lot of that like the legal system up there in that state is fully Democrat. Like, and the problem is like they got tried in New York, so they're not like the Proud Boys. I'm saying they got tried in New York, so like Trump really can't do anything, right, as far as like a pardon or anything like that. And so it might have to be, we might be headed to a point where we're just going to have to stay out of New York, stay out of California, let them do their own thing. And that's probably a wise decision anyway, because California is going to shit.
oh yeah, well California's already there. I mean, we have at least like one or two audience members in this, you know, in my chat who are from California.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who, but they're definitely there. And by the way, folks, for those who are just tuning in, Dictator Phil, the co-host of Real News, you know, is joining us for the show. So you know, he's on tonight. So I don't know, man. Just I guess where do you think all of this madness is going to head? Do you think it'll reset itself eventually, or where do you see this going?
I think it gets worse. I do. You have two sides, and well, with the Democrats, it's getting progressively more left. Like they're going way more left to the point where they're embracing socialism, and it's going even further. Like we might see like actual communist shit, philosophically, we are completely different. Like, like 20 years ago, we had our differences with Democrats, but it was like, oh, well, like meeting in the middle wasn't so difficult because we weren't like at gross odds. But like now, like the Democrats are so far left that if they're going to try to meet in the middle, they're going to have to move a fuck ton, and it's like, do they really want to do that? No. Do we really want to go far left? No. So we're at odds, and it's only the frustration's only going to get greater and greater, and with that, the violence is probably going to be greater and greater. So.
Well, I think one of two things, is going to happen. I think if the Democrats want to win again, like, relatively soon, I think they're going to have to go, I think they're going to have to go back to the middle. I honestly do. There's no way at this point that they can. Now, the thing that I worry about is that, like, 20 years from now, basically, like, once all the baby boomers are either too old or when they're dying off, and the millennials are when we're in our kind of like middle age, then sadly I do think we are gonna start seeing things go more and more to the left. Like politically,
I feel like things could, like socially speaking, I think things could fix themselves, because at least people like thanks and a big thanks for this one goes to Trump. People are seeing like how crooked the mainstream media is. They're seeing how crooked CNN and MSNBC are. I mean, these are dishonest, dirty people we're talking about here. We probably wouldn't have known how bad MSNBC and CNN were if it wasn't for Trump. Trump pretty much put that in the spotlight, and I'm glad he did. Like now that I know, it's like I can't go back, and I don't want to go back. The education system, right? People are realizing, more and more people, more and more children, more and more parents are starting to realize that going to a college is not valuable anymore. It's not really valuable. Like if you want to learn something, you have a computer. You could learn really anything you want on that computer. It's like if I want to get a certification, I can pretty much go on a computer, or I can go to a technical school or something like that. I don't need, like, the need to go to a college really isn't there. And so I think there will be more kids, like American kids, that don't go to college. And to just go, well, screw it. I'll just go to like a technical school, or I'll go to like a trade school, or I'll just go to something else.
Yeah,
I think that's what will happen.
Yeah.
A lot more of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think even those of us who are in college, like, me, like I'm
Mm-hmm.
taking I'm taking technical communications, which is like
Mm-hmm.
that's high tech and media. Like that's the shit that you should be going to college for. But like no one, well, I shouldn't say no one I know, but like no one I'm friends with, let me put it that way, is taking anything like political science or anything like social studies or because those majors are all bullshit now.
Mm-hmm.
They do nothing for you.
I used to get hate. Being up at Penn State, I'd used to tell people that sociology is the most useless major in college. And I used to say that, and it's like what? I'm like, sociology is not a major, right? It's maybe 3 courses at most. I don't know what the fuck they're teaching in those other sociology courses, but it's not anything useful. You can learn about sociology and its history. You could learn about the bell curve, but you learn about the bell curve with statistics anyway. You can learn about, and then there's some other stuff that you could learn too, like certain behaviors, statistics with behaviors within the public. But like, you don't need anything beyond that. Sociology is it's not going to get you shit. Like a bachelor's in socio, what the fuck is that going to get? It's going to get you some $30,000. You're still starving, and then you got the student loans you got to pay back too. Where's that women's studies going to get you? Where's women's studies degree going to get you?
The only places that those degrees will land you jobs at, ironically, is in fact the university system. Like the only jobs that you can get, in like gender studies is teaching gender studies.
Yeah. So H Bug was saying philosophy major is even less useful. I will say philosophy, though, at least there's a historical element to it. Like there's more of a historic psychological element to philosophy, whereas sociology, it's like, well, they're teaching you a bunch of terms and a bunch of stuff that you can kind of debate, they just make up, I feel like with sociology, they're just making up shit as they go along. They're like, whatever. Like, and then you talk about, and then you hear in sociology that racism is privilege plus power. And I'm always like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, well, so they're said that they try to say that so that they can say that you can't be racist against white people. That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
I actually got into a fight over the phone with a friend of mine over that because they tried bringing that shit, up to me, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? You can't be racist.
Yeah.
Like that.
Right.
Like that, and they were all saying, "Oh, well, you have white privilege." It's like, okay, I might have white privilege, but these people are accusing me of having white privilege. Like they have fucking able-bodied privilege or something.
Yeah.
If we want to be serious, we can go through all these different privilege prisms all day long, and do it that way. I honestly don't care. So,
But yeah, so they go and they're like, oh, privilege plus power. It's like, well, what's privilege? What do you define as privilege? It's like, because not every white dude has privilege. Not every black dude is not privileged. Okay. So, and so what's power? And then you go privilege. And then it's like, well, okay, well, what's power? Like, what do you define as power? Right. Because again, not every white dude's powerful. Okay. I grew up poor. And, you know, I had to work for everything I got in this world. Like, I'm like, I wish somebody, like, I wish there was white privilege. I wish I had some white privilege. Damn. But every, like, it's not like the individual determines where the individual wants to go or how far they want to go in this world. You know, now we can't make it like we're never going to make it all on our own. Like, so we're going to have help getting anywhere along the way, obviously. But like to say that one group of people is just institutionally holding you down. Like, nobody gives a shit enough about you to hold you down for that long. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares about you. And it's like, and honestly, like taking on, and you're talking about African American, like Candace Owens raises really good arguments. And it's like, well, look at you. Look, welfare, that's holding you down. The lack of African American fathers in the house, that holds you down, right? You hold yourself down more than anybody else would have the strength to be able to hold you down with. And it's like, we've, the problem with these sociology courses in these colleges are they don't want to talk about that. They always say, oh, we need more of an in-depth conversation. It's like, okay, motherfuckers, let's have this in-depth conversation. And you start hitting up those points. And it's like, no, you're a racist for even mentioning that. Like, no, look, I thought you said we wanted to have a full conversation. I thought we wanted to have more of an in-depth conversation. Did you not just say that? And then that's when they start bringing, oh, you're a racist, and they start walking away from the conversation. And it's like, oh, I see how it is.
I know who Jeff Hamlet is. Who Jeff Hamlet is, right?
Who's that?
The Sam, not me, but one of Sam's I guess student teachers in the Soch.
Oh yeah. I know.
The one who introduced us. I need to get you two together on stream to it could
get hot. It could get hot and heated, because I know we agree. There's certain things we do agree on, but yeah, I'm pretty sure he's probably already going to hear this podcast. And probably going to piss him off somewhere. Well, there's going to be something.
Well, I need to let you in on a little secret here, Phil. So Jeff used to be Jeff actually used to be a conservative, and he used to be the co-host / producer of this very podcast, actually. And then your sociology professor stole him from me and turned him into a liberal. So, and now I'm stuck doing production on my own. So, you know, there's that. But no, in all seriousness, I still love Jeff. But yeah, what you just said, I could totally picture him like, you know, freaking out about some of that stuff.
Oh yeah.
So, which
I do, and obviously, like anybody in this sociology department, I'm like, well, they're already. I'm probably on their hit list. I'm probably like, I'm adamant. I'm so adamant that, like, look, it's there should be no such thing as a sociology major. I'm not saying don't learn sociology, but it's like 3 courses at best to learn the whole fucking all of everything. It's certainly not a major. I damn sure wouldn't like unless you're like you're trying to work at the school as like a professor,
right,
or like something like that. And I honestly believe, I mean, in my personal opinion, he's probably really going to hate me for saying this. I think it's just easy courses so that way that the colleges just suck up more of your money. That's pretty much it. Because it's fucking, I mean, there's no genuine use to those fucking courses other than for them to be an easy A and just move the cattle along.
Oh,
give us your money, move the cattle along, get the fuck out.
Oh boy, he's gonna be wanting to come on the podcast now, which I say I'm all for it.
Oh shit, I'm up for it.
Fight night, fight.
I mean,
so
it's probably. I mean, I don't recognize many of the many of the terms that they use, because it's like many of the terms that they use are like debatable in their own right. I remember the first sociology course I took was like I got into a heated debate with somebody about the gender wage gap, and I'm like, you're out of your mind. That shit doesn't fucking exist. And yeah, this chick flipped out, and I'm like, well, I don't know what you want me to do about that shit. Look, I'm telling you, it doesn't exist. Like they're like, the study was made in 2003. It was debunked in 2004, and they're still hanging on to that shit like it's the golden gospel. Like,
yeah, I got into a fight with a broad at my school, or not at my current campus, but at my previous campus. I got into a fight with this chick because we were doing something like for some civics class that was like required. Otherwise, I would have never taken it. But she did something on the drug war and like the epidemic of like, you know, of like crack on the black population, right? And of course, you know, there's no denying that that's horrible, right? But I simply brought up the fact that, you know, there's a huge epidemic of white people, of like middle-aged white people, you know, who are addicted to like prescription drugs and, you know, painkillers and to opiates, and like how that's kind of like the new wave. And she's like, well, that's different because they got prescribed, and, you know, it's not the same. Like, crack was forced on black people. I'm like,
what?
I'm like, what? What do you mean it was forced? I'm like, yeah, because all those hip hop songs, you know, like constantly have like, yeah, that's really forcing. I mean,
What's up? So I'm gonna listen to so you're telling me I'm gonna listen to a Tupac song and I go, oh man, now that I'm all jazzed up, I want some crack. Like what the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, you choose. Okay, now grant you know, life does suck, but look, I always tell everybody that I know, you get two options in this world. Okay. You either suck more or suck less. Those are your two options. If you do all the right things in this world and you make all the right decisions and you don't fuck up, your life is going to suck a lot less, right? But if you say fuck it and, you know, you make bad choices and, you know, your life's going to suck more. Okay? You're not getting, you know, you're not getting anything other than either of those two.
Yeah, and H Bug, thank you for you know, correcting me. It wasn't a chick. It was in fact a broad that I was arguing with. So, yeah, that's my East Coast side coming out. Yeah, I mean, basically, you know, just don't be a fucking moron. So, you know, it's like, have black people had problems in this country? Yeah, absolutely. Do black people still have problems in this country? Yeah, but is it strictly because is it because of white people and institutional racism? In most cases, probably not now. And I know that I'm probably going to get like a lot of shit for saying that from some people, but like,
Yeah.
But like honestly, I think a lot of, again, with like this hip hop culture, like a lot of black people who want to stay in the hood, it's because they have that mindset. Like one of my best friends is black, and he's also blind, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, so he's actually like physically blind. He like busted his ass, got a degree, and now he's like in South Carolina, and he's working a decent job. And granted, like it's not the best, and he's looking to move up, but like he got out of the hood here in Florida because he wanted to, and he busted his ass and made it happen. So, let that be a lesson.
I also have a problem, like we glorify the wrong African Americans, and when I say that, I say we glorify, like in the media and all that, we glorify comedians, we glorify professional athletes, and it's like we don't glorify people like Ben Carson. Like Ben Carson is one of the most world-renowned neurosurgeons this world has ever known. Like he's done amazing stuff. He's done brain surgery that we've like stated, like state of the art surgery, like that. Like some of the stuff that is done in neurosurgery today is done because of the work that Ben Carson has put in. And to see people like that not get the credit that they deserve, but somebody like LeBron James, because he could dunk it from the foul line, it's like if you want to get out of that, if you really want to gain wealth and you really want to get out of that that funk, you got to start setting up people that you're looking up to. Like I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. Well, how dare you insult LeBron James or Kobe Bryant, especially Kobe Bryant.
I never said Kobe Bryant, okay? Never said Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, I know.
But by the way, Kobe Bryant never got the credit that he deserved for the stuff that he did off the field, too. Like, nobody gave a shit about Kobe once he left, right? And he did a whole bunch of great stuff, too. He won an Oscar. He did all kinds of work. And and nobody, it's like, oh, well, everybody made, and they, he was a good basketball player, but he did a lot of stuff. It started for even women's basketball and stuff. He did a lot. And I wish that we would glorify that more, like the off the field stuff, or the more of the academic stuff,
right?
That do people that say jokes or sing mumble rap or whatever.
I will say this though, as far as black comedians go, I love Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle is Dave's a big lib too, but I still love Chappelle's show. And I love Dave's last two specials. Those were great. So,
yeah, no. And I'm not saying that they're not great, but what I'm saying is when you're putting them up on a pedestal and you're giving no time for some of these other, like Ben Carson or like Mae Jemison. I'm fucking this one all up. Mae Jemison, who's this renowned astronaut, this engineer, American astronaut. Like, these are the people that you should like be looking up to.
Yeah.
These are super intelligent people that are doing monumental shit that we should be looking up to, or y'all should be looking up to. And but no, like, they're not going to do Ben Carson because Ben Carson's a Republican. He's a Christian. They're not going to. He goes against everything that they stand for. You know, you notice how you don't really hear too much about Martin Luther King because he was a Republican. Like, his family were all Republicans and shit. They're like, oh, we can't talk. We can only talk about him during Martin Luther King Day, and that's it, right?
Yeah, in January. Yeah, that's it. But they also love to bring up Malcolm X more and more and more, which, you know, Malcolm X was a bit of a radical. So,
well, yeah, but like, even he had some quotes that I gotta look up some of these quotes too. But it's like, every time somebody talked about Malcolm X, I'd always like to throw some quotes that would tend to piss them off and throw them off their narrative, because the left today is becoming even too extreme, even for Malcolm X. Like, that this is how bad the left is getting.
oh yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, Malcolm X sounds like a conservative with the way he talks about the media. You know, like, the media will have you, you know, read the newspaper.
Yeah.
And
If you're not, yeah. One of them is, if you're not careful, the newspaper will have you hating the people who are being oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing.
Yeah.
That's literally the mainstream media right now.
Yeah, that's one of that's probably my favorite Malcolm X quote. I actually used to. I don't have it anymore, but I actually used to have that quote, like, framed and put up on my wall in my office, just because, I mean, that quote is so true, especially with, like, you know, CNN and the mainstream media. So, you know, even Fox to some extent, not as much, but a little bit. So, but anyway, well, I mean, well, Dictator Phil, it was great having you on here. You know, we're about to close the program. Any final thoughts, or I guess, where can people follow you? If
Well, yeah. Well, like you said, I do Real News with Sean and Alex. We do that on the Line 90.7 FM up in State College. And we try to. It's a lot like this, except we can't curse as much at all. But we try to have conversations like this. We try to, you know, we try to have guests on. We do that a lot. We're hoping we're going to have a couple of guests on here in the next couple of weeks, but of course things happen. Like, we get it. Like, there's a lot going on, especially after CPAC. There's a lot of blowback. There's a lot of stuff to, like, unpack and, you know, try to facilitate. But we have it's a pretty good show. And we always put up the replays on YouTube. We try to come on here. We try to come on here on the Sam Whitfield Show, and you know, because we feel like if we got to keep we got to keep talking, and I'm going to say that we got to keep talking. We got to keep, and if you're the people that are listening to this, if you're, you know, if you're in school, if you're at work, or if you're whatever, if somebody is saying something that you don't agree, like, that you don't agree with, or is just saying something that just is out of their minds, challenge them. Just challenge them, because you know, if you don't, you're emboldening them to keep saying whatever crazy stuff that they're saying. Like, challenge them. challenge their logic, challenge their thought process, and and don't stop doing it. I know it gets tiresome after a while. There's some days where I just get sick and tired of arguing with people, but if I don't do it, then I'm emboldening their rhetoric, and I can't do that. We cannot do that. And 2020, this election, it's important. We have to do it now more than ever. So, anyway, that's that. Thank you, Sam. I always appreciate you.
Nope.
And yeah,
no problem. And you're still on Twitter too, right? At Dictator Phil.
Yeah, at Dictator Phil. It's one word. I mean, go on my Twitter page at your own risk.
It's fun. Believe me, a lot of these folks follow me on Twitter. So and I mean, I think your Twitter is actually pretty comparable to mine. So
well, that's high praise.
So yeah, I think actually you have. I think actually, let me see here.
I don't have very many followers because I have days where I just say something that'll just guaranteed to piss someone off.
Yeah, but that's me too. I'm surprised I haven't gotten banned off Twitter yet, honestly.
Me too. And there are days where I try. There are days where I actually try to get kicked off.
Yeah, me too. I've only gotten banned once on Twitter, and I mean, I shouldn't hope that it happens soon because I actually somewhat like Twitter in terms of like the user.
I actually lost. I actually noticed this. The last tweet, one of the last tweets that I had, I basically said Twitter is a propaganda machine for Democrats, socialists, communist tyrants, and anti-Americans. In fact, they themselves are anti-American. I said Jack Dorsey is the modern day Joseph Goebbels, and I did lose followers for that. I did.
That's funny.
I went from I want to say I went from 37 followers to 35. And I don't have that many because,
Oh, geez. Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks for coming on, Phil. And, thanks for kind of co-hosting the show with me this evening. I really didn't have much planned, but, as always, it's great to talk to you, man. So.
All right. You too, man. Y'all take care.
All right. Bye now. All right, folks, and that will do it for us here at NGC Studios. I want to thank you so much for joining me tonight. From all of us here at NGC Studios, have a good night. God bless. God save this great nation. I will be back on Thursday for the Thursday edition of the show. And until then, God bless. God save this great nation. God, freedom, democracy in that order. And I will see you on the next podcast. Hey there, folks. If you've made it this far to the end of the podcast, I'd like to thank you very much for listening to the show. You are the ones that make it possible for me to make an income from podcasting, and I greatly appreciate that just by listening to our show. You are helping us gain ad revenue. However, if you would really like to help support the show, I encourage you to please donate to the podcast and become a supporter of the show. You can head over to anchor.fm/Whitfield Report and click the support this podcast button and choose the amount that suits you to support the show. Or you can click the link in the show notes and it will directly take you to that page. If you can support the podcast, I really, really appreciate that. Anything that you can do to help out is greatly appreciated. Even if you can't afford to help financially support the podcast, I encourage you to please go on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, and please leave this podcast a positive 5-star review. That really helps us out here at the Whitfield Report. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next episode.